Neither of these stories that I have up next are hoax hate, really, but they're close enough. And at this point, jamming hoax hate circles into the square bit peg is kind of part of the bit. Or did I get that in reverse? Jamming square pegs into circle holes. You get what I mean. These don't fit, but I have to play the intro as a matter of routine.
And now, the nobody saw it happen, but it's totally a product of Trump's America hoax hate crime of the week.
Ah, shit, it's backwards. You think they'll notice?
Now, over the summer, do you remember this one? We covered a story of two young men who were facing charges in Santa Cruz, California, after they burned out and left heavy black tire tread marks across a Black Lives Matter street mural painted in front of City Hall by community members in Santa Cruz. That's the image of it's big yellow letters on the street that say Black Lives Matter. That's it. And they did, with a truck, I guess, burnouts on this. And they're indeed going to be prosecuted. That was one of the funny...
Come on.
We listened to, I think it was the chief of police talking about how heinous of a crime this was. They are indeed being prosecuted. And the DA in Santa Cruz, California, has now introduced video. I searched for this video because I want to bring you the truth of the matter and because I certainly want to see it if it exists. And the DA says it does. The DA introduced video depicting the two young men, so these two being prosecuted, 21 and 19 years old, driving the truck with four other boys inside, emphasis on boys, because everybody else was a minor. So it's a 21-year-old, a 19-year-old, and three presumably teenage minors driving this pickup truck. The video shows the two young adult men and the minors in the truck. The driver, the boys in the car. The story says boys in the car, which implies to me minors. The boys in the car were yelling racial slurs while the vehicle drives away, including Warner, the 19-year-old, yelling white power as he and the other boys enact a Nazi salute. So driver burning out, teenagers in the back of the truck or wherever yelling white power. Guy riding shotgun yells white power. Teenagers in the back of the truck, Nazi salute. That's what happened as they're burning out on Black Lives Matter paint on the street.
Awesome.
In other words,
sounds awesome.
It's the sort of teenage jackassery that occurs in every town. You might, maybe you say, well, I never did a white power salute. Yeah. But the point is, like, a lot of this stuff is the sort of mischief that goes along with even the supposed white power symbol. It's the reaction that you'll get.
It's trolly.
Exactly. It's just, they wanted to make people mad, and so they did this. And variations of that strategy are very common among young men. But in clown world, this is going to be it's now felony prosecution. By the way, it's not just prosecution for like, oh, you guys go shovel some poop at the nonprofit zoo for community service or something like that. They're facing felony prosecution, and the DA is saying that it's over $115,000 worth of damage to the mural that has yet to be repaired. Because apparently, I guess they took turns. The 21 and the 19-year-old each did a burnout on the Black Lives Matter mural. But as far as I understand,
prosecutors are seeking the death penalty in the case of two suspects.
Get that out of here. Sorry. As far as I understand, the mural itself was just done by community members. In other words, the mural is graffiti. It's just graffiti that City Hall likes.
Yeah. How could that have possibly cost $115,000? Are they just talking about the cost to remedy it? Just paint over it.
Well, that's what I understand. The street is no more damaged than it was when they painted Black Lives Matter on the street. So, and again, am I saying that maybe a little parental discipline might be, something to exercise here, certainly for the younger boys? Sure. Is this a felony prosecution that should be a top priority of the DA? Oh, it's not the DA himself. I thought it was actually the district attorney. It's an assistant district attorney who introduced the video. So point taken. It's not the district attorney himself. But is this anything close to a law enforcement or prosecutorial priority for any town?
Of course not.
A burnout on the street. Felony prosecution.
In places like Chicago, aren't they backed up on rape kits from like the last year or something ridiculous? The homicides are going uninvestigated.
They probably are in Santa Cruz as well. I have no idea. But I just can't imagine living in that community and thinking, yeah, throw the book at these kids. This is the most serious problem our community faces, that someone did a burnout on the Black Lives Matter street art. Anyway. Also, the anti-Asian hate crimes have claimed another victim. We all remember that old man picking up cans in San Francisco who was attacked by a group of color, one of whom recorded another beating the man and beating him with his own can picker. And the guy recording said, "I hate Asians, N-word." And that case was dropped. It was not a hate crime in San Francisco. This one actually will be. And apparently something similar happened in New York City, almost an identical fact pattern. And I was not aware of this case until now. Last April, 61-year-old Yao Pan Ma was collecting cans in East Harlem when ex-con Jared Powell was caught on video assaulting him, repeatedly kicking him in the head and leaving him in a coma. Ma died on December 31st, as in last week. I presume he's been in a coma since, although the story is a little bit unclear. But this is according to the NYPD. Powell, the attacker, was initially charged with murder and 2 counts of hate crime assault. And he pleaded not guilty. Or did I get that wrong? He was originally charged? I thought that they upgraded the charges in light of the death. Let me see what's in the story here. He was initially charged with attempted murder. So they charged him with attempted murder and 2 counts of assault as a hate crime. And now it's expected that it's being designated a homicide. It's expected his charges will be upgraded to reflect the death. But as far as that hasn't happened specifically yet. It's expected to come. Powell, who has had 15 prior arrests dating back to 1988, claimed the victim attacked him first. This 61-year-old Asian dude attacked him first. And the video of the sickening assault was, quote, "a whole lot of bullshit." That's what Powell says. Powell is due back in court on February 10th, at which point the charges might be changed to reflect the death of Mr. Ma. And once again, I'm just glad to see that yet another anti-Asian, Trump-supporting white supremacist is off the streets, and hopefully there will be justice in this case, as with all the others. Wow. And he leaves behind a wife, by the way. Does Mr. Ma. I don't know about the rest of his family. Anything else you have to say about that case?
No, I mean, this is just going to continue to happen. If I really hated Asians, I'd be jazzed about this, but I don't.
Well, where did he rank in the hierarchy?
Yeah, really. Asians might be our only hope.